gentlemen.
Silent mode.
Okay, there should definitely be sound now. How embarrassing. This is what happens when you do things at the last minute, when you've had all day to prepare. But yes, hopefully you can hear me now. Thanks for letting me know, Bob. Otherwise, this would have been a very embarrassing, goodness knows how long live stream. And hopefully that is the last of today's technical difficulties. It may actually be a good hook for my channel. Spot the technical difficulty or place bets on what the technical difficulty du jour is. But anyhow, I'll just roll with the punches. As I was saying, today was one of those days where things were generally very good, but there was that one bit of news that I received that threw things off tilt, or whatever the term is, and it put me in a bad mood. It put me in an unfortunate mood, but it's just one of those things that happens. You know, it's not worth being too upset about it. But genuinely hope that everybody listening, whether it's on live or replay, has had a good day today. And yeah, let me know how you guys are doing. Good. We know that the sound is fixed now. Thank you, Bob. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, and you guys didn't hear me, this is roughly what you see on the table is roughly half of what's left to sort. And so there'll probably be just one more of these live streams before I'll call the sorting a day. but we have gotten through most of it, and we sorted, and we're going to have sorted most of the parts that we're after. Hello once again, Kerry J. Thank you for joining me once again, and thank you for the suggestion about Rudyard Kipling's poem. As I mentioned in the comments, or the response to your comments, it's a poem that I've heard many times, but it's one that I often forget, and it stood the test of time. I don't know if you've heard of the Desiderata. I don't know if that's how it was pronounced, but when you mentioned If by Rudyard Kipling, I thought about that poem as well. That's another good poem. So we've got a Captain America torso and arm and leg. Quite a few of those superhero figures in this collection. Got one of those. I'm not going to say it, but got one of those. Yes, one thing I didn't mention during these series of live streams was that over the last month or so, when I started visiting the Lego store again, I found myself getting rather emotional, to be absolutely honest, and it was mainly to do with the loss of one of my Lego friends. I talked about it in the Valentine's Day live stream. I don't think I mentioned it anyway, but it was the realization that they were no longer here, and that I wouldn't bump into them as I usually did. And that changed things greatly, to be absolutely honest. I've managed to adjust as we all do when we lose somebody, but they were an integral part of the Lego experience for me anyway. And as the young kids say these days, it hits different. Do you guys recognize this figure here? I have no idea what it is, but it's there's no distinctive markings. So yes, it took a while to register, but I realized I missed this person very much, and though I knew that the hobby wouldn't be the same without them once I heard about their passing, it really hit home when it came time to start visiting the stores again. And that led me to advise you guys listening right now to value the people that are around you while they're still here, because you never know when they'll no longer be here. It's, for most of us, it's easy to remember when it comes to family members, but when it comes to the people that we see almost every day, almost all the time, it is very easy to take those people for granted. I'll tell you what though, I am scared to death of losing my folks. I don't know how I'm going to manage without them right at the moment anyway. I know that it will get easier as time goes on, but I know that when it happens, when we hear about people's passings, it really hits home, and we don't know what to do. I guess I've been fortunate not to have experienced that many funerals, but quite a few years ago I lost my cousin, who was very close, and then not long after that I lost my aunt, who was also very close, and it was devastating. It took a while to register, and it took a while to finally overcome that grief. And you know, I did eventually. It doesn't mean that I don't miss them. But yes, I would definitely advise you guys, you know, certainly appreciate those who are still here while they're still here, because you never know. It could, I mean, this last year with everything that's gone on, let me just put this in focus if I can. With everything that's gone on this year or last year, I would have thought the one thing that people would take to heart is this idea that we could lose somebody at any given moment. And to be absolutely honest, that's one of the main reasons why I found what's gone on within the LEGO community with regard to how I've been treated, and I'm pretty sure how other people have been treated, so sickening. With this person that we lost, you know, while during the memorial people were talking about good memories of this person, I also remember that a few times she was made fun of. And that's a rather nasty habit, unfortunately. Got me thinking about what people would say about me as well, when and if, well, it will happen eventually, but when I'm gone, what people will say about me. I don't think, well, to be absolutely honest, I don't think many people should have anything to say about me when I'm gone. But yes, that's all I really wanted to say. That's all I wanted to advise, really. Value people while they're still here. And as I often say during these live streams, I really appreciate you guys being here, because you could have gone and watched somebody else, and you're free to do so, but you came to visit me, and I really appreciate that. Anyway, that's out of the way. I still have my thing here, and now the camera's gone back in focus. I still have it in here, and there's nothing in here. Undefeated at the moment. So once again, if you hear me talking smack about LEGO community, if you hear me talking about how difficult YouTube is, etc., let me know, and I will put some money in that pot, which will all go to charity by the end of the year. Anyhow, there is a lot of parts in this batch, so I will try and go through them as quickly as possible. Let's see. Just out of curiosity, if you don't mind me asking, Kerry, who did you lose? Was it somebody incredibly close? Was it somebody you knew in passing? I tend to find that, with the exception of one's parents and one's siblings, it doesn't matter so much how close somebody was in terms of being a relative, as it was about the impact that person had on our lives. It was a friend of yours, yeah. Yeah, a close friend is going to be really hard to come to terms with. Yeah, just this idea of being so close to somebody and then the next day you no longer have them to talk to. That's a rather interesting clone minifigure. This one has ball joints, as you can see here, ball joints for the legs. I suppose if we if you put this Lego head on it, it kind of looks like a robot. That's an interesting design. You can see that somebody's drawn on a Harry Potter head to make it look like a stormtrooper, I guess. It's quite cute. Yeah, losing friends though. It actually reminds me of the Rocky series of movies, and the more recent ones are more poignant because if we follow the Rocky saga, he has a lot of people. Well, he starts with having a lot of people around him, and then as time goes on, people start dying, and before he knows it, he's pretty much on his own. That's a very scary and sobering thought. But you know what? Let's lift the spirits with this live stream. I didn't mean it to be so. I didn't mean it to be so poignant. So what? Let's talk about good stuff that's happened recently. Well, yesterday I received a nice package from the other side of the world over in China. It was actually a prize that I won in a competition that was held on a live stream, and I completely forgot about it because it took so long to get. It took so long to arrange. Look at this. It's a hairband. But yes, it was all over the place essentially because it was one thing to be chosen as a winner, it was another thing to claim the prize. But they got their act together, and yesterday the prize arrived. I don't have it to hand, but it was good that it came through, and at least I can say that I've won something now. So that was great news. There is another clone brand minifigure torso, as you can tell by the lack of text on the head, on the neck there. Anyway, well, thank you, Kerry. What else has happened that's been good recently? Not this. It's a breadstick. Don't ask me to eat it. I'm not going to eat it. What else has happened recently that's been good? Well, I had some problems with one of my 3D printers, and I say one of them because somehow, some way, I've ended up with 4 of them. I guess I got so fed up with trying to fix the one I had already. Well, the one I have at home and the one I have at the studio that I have. I got so tired of trying to fix them that I ended up buying 2 more. And one of them is still on the way. The other one arrived last week. And part of me thinks it's some kind of midlife crisis or 3/4 life crisis, whichever, that I have so many 3D printers now. But as long as I'm making use of those 3D printers, it doesn't really matter, does it? That's the main thing. But it also shows me how, you know, how fortunate I am, because I was able to afford having those 3D printers. And I've got just enough space to house them as well. But today I, you know, after doing a little bit of diagnosis, I was able to start printing again with one of the printers, which is great news. Alright, so here we have a slight dilemma. We have a minifigure torso, and this is genuine Lego. But the arm is cracked where the hand goes. So what do I do with this? I would say take the arm off and dispose of it and keep the torso. It's quite tough to get off. There we go. Yeah, I wish this... I'm using a webcam at the moment. I wish it would do a better job of getting into focus. But I guess it's designed for, you know, people being on camera as opposed to being off camera. Let's see, what else was good? What else was good today? Well, I mentioned yesterday that I had one of my custom typefaces in another life mentioned on social media yesterday. It's part of a promotion, and as part of the tweets, the person who sent the tweet out called me a talented artist and designer, which it was incredibly flattering. And it's always a good thing when somebody recognizes my abilities. So that was another very proud moment, and it has happened before. I'm not going to say that people, even within the LEGO community, haven't recognized my abilities. That would be a lie. But it's nice to hear. It's always nice to hear somebody mention them. Right, so enough of me talking though for the time being. I'd like to know what you guys got up to either this week or today. I've mostly been indoors because it was raining, and also I had other stuff to do. But what did you guys get up to? Right, tomatoes. You know, I've heard that tomatoes are fairly easy to grow. I think I was able to grow some tomatoes once. And even then they didn't end up very big, but it doesn't help that we don't exactly have the best growing weather over here in the UK. But that's cool though. What do you grow besides tomatoes? Or do you grow anything besides tomatoes? I should ask. Alright, look at this. This is I'll just put this on here. This is a rather nice minifigure head. It's a rather cute one. I may keep that one. Don't grow tomatoes or don't plant them next to peppers. That's rather interesting. I've thought, you know, maybe this is my ignorance, but I would have thought that tomatoes and peppers are similar enough in terms of the kinds of plants they are. Or perhaps it's because peppers are very demanding when it comes to nutrients. You plant Asperger's. I think you mean asparagus. Don't worry, I understood. Yeah, we all. I think most of us have those typo days. Yeah, I think you meant asparagus. So yes, apples and lettuce, nice, very nice. Yeah, I wish last year wasn't too bad actually. I was able to grow to a very small degree some plants. I had some carrots, some radishes, some even some beetroots. So I was able to grow something, not very much. But I just wish that we had more conducive weather over here for planting things. So to make up for that, we have to make use of artificial lighting and all kinds of other trickery. Loofah gourds. I've never heard of those. Yeah, some people are naturally gifted at planting. I suppose if you depend on growing your own food, you have to be very good at planting. And I just wish I was. Funnily enough, though, I personally think that look at this. I wonder what kind of statement that is. Maybe they just wanted to get rid of the design. But I personally think that I'm a lot better at nurturing things, as in getting things started, than actually taking them to completion. So I'm okay with growing things from seed, for example, as is the case with these plants here, which are beetroots. And yeah, these are 3D printed. So I'm a lot better at starting to grow things from seeds than I am taking them all the way up to producing vegetables and fruits and things. Wait a minute. So those loofah gourds are actually loofahs. I was wondering where they came from. This piece here, just taking a close look at it. Maybe a second. This piece here, I don't know if it's a genuine Lego piece. I don't think it is. I guess that would fit on a minifigure's hand. I don't think it's a genuine piece, but I'll I'll put it to one side for the time being. Alright, so that's where loofahs come from. I had absolutely no idea. Well, I guess I've learned something today, which is another good thing that's happened. So I've just dropped something and let's see if I can retrieve it. No, it's gone. Never mind. That's okay. Sorry, Bob. What did you say? Your What did you say your brother was doing? Okay, versatile vegetables then. Very versatile vegetables. I remember actually there was this one phase when I was living with the folks many years ago. they had a rather serious crop of marrow, and needless to say, I didn't like marrow that much. Certainly not after they were done with it. Pretty much every dinner will involve some kind of marrow and copious amounts of it as well. Fortunately, I haven't had marrow in years, but I'm probably more open to having it in small portions. Okay, so if you can train them to climb, how tall or how far can they reach? Just out of curiosity. Look at this. I think this is, well, I don't know actually. This torso. I'm not sure where this is from. So you got a banana at the front, and then it has Banana Company at the back. This is a Lego torso. So they grow to 12 feet, which is roughly twice my height. That's quite tall actually. That's quite tall for a plant. It's, by the way, some of these parts are going to end up in the round robin box I'm going to be leading on brick sets, because I've got way too much of this stuff and I would rather rehome it than just hoard it. Oh. You almost saw my face. I'm not gonna let that happen. So I was just retrieving this this torso here, which drops on the floor. You got tired of lima beans. That sounds like heck. I'm not gonna use the word I usually use, but that sounds awful. I gotta say that apart from green beans, I don't like pulses at all. I don't know why. I have never gotten used to them. And I can't understand personally how people like them so much, but you know what, there's a bunch of things that I like that other people don't like. I was always a fan of Brussels sprouts, which is probably why I'm growing them now. And I think along with anchovies, it's one of those things that people are taught that they should dislike in terms of what they eat. I remember in some of the old cartoons, they always made a joke about having anchovies on pizza. And it wasn't until not so long ago, actually, where I was essentially forced into having something with anchovies in it, that I realized they weren't so bad. They weren't so bad at all. Actually, I quite like them. But beans of most kinds, no. I can't stand them. You'll notice I'm using my nails to separate these bricks, even though I've got short nails at the moment. I'm old school like that. I guess it's because when I was younger, even back then, brick separators were hard to come by, and even the brick separators they had back then weren't as useful as the ones we have now. If I like anchovies, try pickled herring in wine, not cream. Pickled herring. I suppose if the opportunity arises and if I'm feeling brave, then I may do so. I might do so. I'll tell you what though, if you like your fish, if you like especially preserved fish, then definitely go to Iceland. Gosh, I forgot what it is actually. There's a particular dish they have which I wasn't brave enough to try at the time. It's pickled something, some kind of fish, I think it is. But also bear in mind that they have horse meat over there. I actually came across, I was in Iceland back in 2012, and I came across a restaurant that actually sold a dish that had horse meat in it. And this was, funny enough, this was at around the time that horse meat was part of a controversy because it was appearing in food over here. And I remember making a very clever pun when this is back when I was on Facebook that went over people's heads. I said that, let me see if I can get it right. I said, yeah, the pun was basically that I went to Iceland and found out they had horse meat. Then I came back and found out that Iceland had horse meat. And if you don't know, Iceland is it's the name of a supermarket over here that sells frozen foods. So yeah, I thought that was really clever, but I don't think most people got it. Okay. You know what? I'm actually gonna look. I'm gonna look it up. This this specialty of Iceland. Just give me a second, because I am really curious. Yeah, I will have to admit I was nowhere near as brave with cuisine when I went to Iceland as I am now. So when I was over there, I didn't eat very much, and I was only over there for one night or 2 nights actually. And one night I had Domino's pizza, essentially. Yeah, that was rather shameful. So I'm looking up Icelandic delicacy. Here's something for you to look at while I'm looking this up. It's a another Doctor Who figure, and this one has a chest on her. As you can see, though, I don't like this style. I think it's particularly ugly, for lack of a better term, but somebody likes this, so I'll put that over there. Let's try searching again. Icelandic delicacy. All right. Icelandic delicacies and disgusting foods. That's it. Fermented shark. That's the one I remember. Fermented shark. Did I pack a matpaki? I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce it. And go for a hike? No. It was a package holiday to Iceland, and I was literally there for 2 nights. So I got to Iceland near midnight on the first night, and then the next day I went to the Blue Lagoon, which was by far the best part of the trip. And I went out at night to attempt to see the Northern Lights. Wasn't successful, unfortunately, but the whole thing was a really good experience. It was something very different, and I've been meaning to go again. I just haven't made the time. Of course, now it's become a very popular destination, so it may not have the same magic as before. There was also a church in Reykjavik that I went to the top of the tower and took a panoramic photograph of the town. Can't remember for the life of me what the church was called, but that was also an amazing experience. So I guess the other thing I could have done on this package tour was go hunting for whales, which didn't really appeal to me at the time. Okay, so this is a rather cute shovel. It's got what looks like bunny ears on it. That may be worth a pretty penny. But yeah, as I say to everybody, I can't wait to start traveling again, being able to go to different countries and explore different territories. Matpaki is a dull, boring, packed sandwich. I guess it depends what you mean by boring. For me, boring would be your common or garden ham sandwich with probably more butter than ham, or if my mum made these sandwiches, more margarine than ham. That to me would be boring. Mind you, I can't really remember the last time I had or made what could be considered a boring sandwich. Okay, so to go with the Doctor Who torso, we got these legs. Let me see if I can. There we go. Put it together. Not sure if this is the right pair of legs to go with the torso, but it fits like this. Then I suppose you could turn the legs like that. So just one more point of articulation compared to your Lego minifigure. And I can see another torso here. This is the same from the same figure. There may be more than one of them then. Then we've got a very small, what looks like cavalry soldier. But there's nothing wrong with simplicity, I will say that. As a matter of fact, part of what I do as SilentMode is basically keeping things simple. If you had to describe my style of building, for example, I would class it as mastering the basics. So for the most part, I wouldn't employ fancy building techniques that would go over people's heads. It's more about building things to tell a story. So Grandma would spread a thin layer of bronzewager. Sorry, I can't pronounce that word yet. Bronzewager on one slice of rye bread, then cover it with wax paper. My goodness, that does sound simple. That sounds very simple. One slice of bread. And here's another Ninjago spinner. Out of focus again, but there we go. Okay, let me look up this Bronzewager. If I had to guess what it is, it's something brown. Or Braunschweiger. Well, it won't tell me what it is, but okay, it's a type of sausage. Okay. It's a parboiled sausage. Okay, cool. So it comes under German food. So if it's spread, then I'm guessing it's some kind of okay, liverwurst. Yeah, liver's another one of those foods that I want to like, but then again, it is offal, and I've never really been a fan of offal. Mind you, one food I did try was what's called sweetbreads. Basically because I'd heard so much about it from watching all kinds of videos on YouTube about restaurants and things. I was curious to find out what it tasted like, what the texture was, etc. And so the opportunity came when I went to a restaurant. What's the name of it? It's a restaurant owned and run by Emily Rue and her partner. I cannot for the life of me remember what the name of the restaurant is, but they have a sweetbread starter on the menu, and that was my opportunity to try it. Now I'd never have it again, but it was very interesting. But yes, I've tried liver on several occasions, and I just can't bring myself to like it, unfortunately. I would guess though that it's quite good for nutrition, and it would be rather inexpensive, so it's good in that way. So I think I'm going to have to empty the container of plates again. I'll just grab my bag. So we have all these plates so far from the lots, and these are 1 wide and 2 wide plates. Ah, yes. Well, I don't think I've ever traded lunch with anybody, because typically when I was in primary school and high school, it was the school that provided lunch. But yes, I can see that. I can definitely see that unless you happen to like liver, or you could trade with a child that likes liver themselves, you're pretty much going to be out of luck. Funnily enough, though, I remember when I was working at my last full-time job, I was at the supermarket getting lunch one day, and there was this kid with his mother, and he was very passionate about getting liver sausage. And I'm thinking, obviously he's been brought up on liver sausage, or somebody probably told him that it was very good for him. But I think that's good, because it was good for them anyway, because they obviously got a good deal on liver sausage, especially if nobody else would eat it. Oh yes, I happened to come across this in the lot as well. It looks like a ring, one of those novelty rings, I guess. Let me give you a closer look at it. Okay, that's quite nice, but I have no idea what to do with it. We've got another Batman torso here, this one with no hands. And ooh. Okay. I recognize this minifigure head as Tony Stark, I think, from Iron Man. So this hasn't taken much longer than I thought. Okay, this is a genuine Lego torso. This is Venom. Is it Venom? Or Black Spider-Man? I guess if we can find the rest of this this figure, that would be worth, as I usually say, a pretty penny. Where's my mouse gone? There it is. Okay. Oh yes, just as a reminder, next month's live stream, which will be happening, goodness willing, on the first Sunday, is going to be held live at my working studio, just as a change of scenery. And of course you'll be able to see it on the replay if you can't make it, but it would be good to have you guys there. I've been keeping this place top secret for a while, which I don't know. I don't know if I should have done that, but I'm eager for people to see where I've been working, just to give you an idea of the different side of things going on my end. That's Kobe. That's also Kobe and Kobe. It's quite an interesting piece, but that isn't Lego. Cool. Yeah, just thinking what else to thinking about what else to talk about. What else? Yes, I probably mentioned it before, but recently I've been thinking about taking things to the next level, and or perhaps organizing some kind of event. I've been to quite a few events as part of the LEGO community, and I've always been in awe at just how much goes into organizing an event. And I think, especially since I've gone independent now, the next stage would be first of all tagging along with other people in terms of organizing an event, and then perhaps look at organizing an event myself. I have absolutely no idea what this event would be. I don't know what it would involve. I'd imagine it would involve quite a bit of money. I certainly couldn't do it by myself, and I'd certainly wouldn't want to do it all by myself anyway. I wouldn't want it to be just me, so I'd be very eager to have other people on board. But at the moment, it's just an idea. I'd have to give it a lot of thoughts, a lot of serious thought. As a matter of fact, before this stuff happened with the pandemic, whatever you want to call it, I was taking part in a lot of social events, and eventually I got comfortable with going to these events to the point where I started thinking about being a host. I thought that was the next natural level of progression. And just before everything happened, I seriously gave thoughts to hosting events, or at least assisting with the running of events, and I thought I could do a good job. I may end up doing it at some point in the future, but I think it's something I'll have to ease back into the idea of. Yep, I think I don't doubt that it would be a lot of work. I guess the question is, am I afraid of how much work it would potentially take? I think if I'm aware of how much it would take to organize an event, I'd be in a much better position than getting the ball rolling without any idea of what I'm doing and then finding it's overwhelming. That's why I would suggest for myself anyway to help other people with planning an event, to assist other people with their events before even thinking about doing my own. 3 months to plan an event. That doesn't surprise me. I guess for people who haven't organized events before, it looks a lot like everything happens overnight. It looks that way because they don't have any idea how much negotiation goes on. Things such as booking the venues, finding people to get to the or to participate in the events. There's a lot of management as well, and that's just assuming that everything goes right. You know, I honestly hadn't thought about that either. Getting permits, even something as simple as you know, these videos that come up occasionally about people who randomly, in quotes, go into different parts of town and start doing artistic things. They look, you know, they look sporadic. They look, the word escapes me. They look as if it's just some people turning up on the spots, but I'd imagine that there's a lot of planning that goes into them. There's a lot of negotiation with the council, the government, perhaps, before people can do something like that, because you'd have insurance to be concerned about, people's well-being, etc. I'd imagine that's what it's all about. Just thinking about it, actually, I think if those people who upload those videos of them doing random things in the streets, if they had to go through the planning process to be able to do those things, isn't that irresponsible? Because it's, you know, they're giving the impression that people can just turn up and do whatever. But if you just turn up and do whatever, you may get into trouble. This is literally the first time I've even thought about having to apply for permits. Anyway, that was just a random thought. Okay, this bit I recognize as coming from Lego Dimensions. This was part of the portal that sits over the tag reader. I actually bought one of these sets, discounted of course, because I wanted the actual reader for future experiments. Haven't done anything with it yet, but if time allows, you may see something really cool. there. Okay, for fun runs and 5Ks, you've got to have so many permits for traffic and city workers that can be overwhelming. Yes, and that's not... It may be, but that's not even including what happens if somebody has an accident, or if somebody falls ill or whatever. People organising the event have to be able to handle those situations. As a matter of fact, that reminds me of the friend I mentioned who passed away. They were very passionate about helping out at events as well. I do remember the one of the last events I went to, they helped out on the first aid section. I think it was the first aid, but also helping children find their parents. Spider-Man head. Yeah, they were very much at home with helping people out, which is awesome of them. But yeah, the size of the event definitely has an impact on, I mean, that goes without saying, it has an impact on how much organisation has to go into an event. And that further reminds me that it's all very well saying, you know, you want more people to turn up, you want more people to take part in things, but with more people comes more responsibility. For example, I'm okay right now because this is a very informal live stream. But if I ever got to the stage where I had 1,000 people watching the live stream, I'd have to do things very differently. So I wouldn't be able to have this camera set up, for example, or maybe not. I'd have to have, well, I think it would be good manners to have people's comments appear on the screen, for example. But I would certainly have to have one person, at least one person helping out with the live stream. I'd have to have moderators, etc., which wouldn't be a bad thing. Sorry, I was going to take a sip of this. But I will say for now, before I even think about running events and things, the most important thing I have to do this year is establish a body of work. That means completing projects, getting stuff done, and showcasing what I have to offer. Because that's one thing I've done a very poor job of over the last few years. I know of many people who they know I'm into Lego. They know that I've done various things with Lego. But when it comes to actually showing people examples of my work, I can't actually direct them anywhere because I don't have anything set up. So we are almost done with this stack, and this was quite a big stack. I guess it's mainly because this is the 4th time I'm doing this on camera, so I'm getting used to the layouts. so I can go a little bit quicker. I can also split my concentration a bit better. Oh yes, that's what I was going to mention. Just finished doing these. So as promised, this set, which was the last set I built in the live stream, this is now on sale on eBay. I listed it this morning. I was meant to do it last night, but there were technical difficulties. But anyway, it's listed for sale, and I've got 20% of the proceeds going to charity, which this time is Kidscape, which deals with childhood bullying. I don't have a link on me to the auction, but you'll be able to find it if you look on eBay, or eBay as I call it. If you're interested in purchasing the sets, then feel free to make a bid or make an offer. But yes, I have no idea what it's going to go for. I'm pretty sure it will sell. But what's guaranteed is that 20% of the proceeds will go to charity. Okay, this is all Kobe. We are almost there. This is not Lego. It feels too bulky. I kept this to one side. This is a Lego horse. And I think there's a new version of the Lego horse now in one of the newer sets. But this version of the horse is noted for its prancing stance. So the hind legs move. And of course it's got the classic neck movements of the horse. Yep. We are almost at the end. I suppose if I really, really, really wanted to annoy some people, I would probably have a, for charity of course, I'd probably have a 24-hour sorting live stream where it would be, well, it would have to be me because, well, it would have to be just me because I don't know anybody else who participates. But it would just be me sorting through a whole bunch of Lego for 24 hours, if I could even manage that. And then if there's any revenue generated from the live stream, that would all go to a charity of probably a charity of my choosing, but I'd be open to suggestions. I know that some other people have done 24-hour builds, and there's been a bunch of other 24-hour events focused around Lego. I don't know if anyone's done a 24-hour sword fest or anything like that. And I know some people are listening, so they'll probably take that idea. But there's an idea. But yes, as far as this, as far as these sorting live streams go, there's only one of these left, I'm pretty sure, and I will definitely consider a different time for these events or this live stream. It's still in the, I'm still in the experiment phase, so I have to find something that generally works. I've been trying to get this skeleton head out of this helmet. It's a very tight fit, so I don't know. I guess I've got a couple of options. I can either be patient and trying to get the head out, or I could destroy this helmet to get the head out. Let me see if my trusty brick separator will help. Okay, so we can turn it. That might help. Oh no. So we can rotate it like that. So we've taken away some of the plastic. No, I think it's pretty much stuck in there. Yeah. So this is going to have to be given away. That's a shame. There's another Captain America torso and legs. We have quite a few tiles as well, which is great. And of course, as we get to these final few parts, there's quite a bit of dust. I think that's why I've been clearing my throat quite a lot. You guys will have noticed that I've changed the thumbnail for these live streams a little bit every time, and it'll be interesting to see how the numbers compare. This is Lego. Alright, last few parts. Oh, you couldn't actually see them. Right, I think that is pretty much it. Yep, that's it. Alright, so that's the end of part 4. And there's just one more part. There's just one more sort to do before we've gone through the entire lot. The good news is it won't be tomorrow because I am at my studio tomorrow. Perhaps Thursday or Friday. But we'll see how things go. Anyway, thank you once again for joining me. Thank you guys for playing along. I really appreciate it as always. And until next time, this is Drew, also known as SilentMode. Have a good evening.